I'm looking up at the TV right now. Darvin Ham was fired after 2 seasons as the Lakers coach. They went to the Western Conference Finals last year, right?
Yep.
How many deals have our guys made in the last 30 months?
0.
All right. Back to you, Tyler.
That's a good point.
I'm just saying, like, I mean,
they still haven't traded a person yet, right?
In 30 months.
30 months, yeah.
Well, it's more than that now.
It's probably what, like 31 or 2?
Yeah, that was at the trade deadline. But they fired the trainer and they fired
my point
a couple of
is
assistants.
that team went to the Western Conference Finals a year ago, and they fired their coach.
Mm-hmm. And they were making a ton of deals when they were below 500 a year ago.
I applaud their efforts. I don't applaud them firing their coach because I don't think their coach was their problem.
That's LeBron doing that.
Yes, but my point is that you've got a team with significantly more on their resume the last 2 years that is trying to move pieces around and trying to do something to get to where they want to go. And we just stand in the sewage over here.
Sewage, yuck.
All right, sorry.
Bull sewage. What do you got, Tyler?
All right. Well, in case you missed it earlier, the Cubs lost to the Brewers 3-1. That's now back-to-back games where we've seen the bullpen squander a good start from the starting pitcher. And this Cubs season has had a lot of highs. It's also had plenty of lows as well. When you look at Adbert Alzolay and his 5 blown saves, you also look at the fact that, hey, this Cubs team right now is still 19-14, 5 games above 500 with some young emerging stars too. Has this Cubs season been more frustrating or fun?
It's a great question, Tyler. And today I am finally putting my foot down. I am no longer at this point using the and you're still 5 over 500. Like, no more of that. Like that 5 over 500 after all this.
This is not about where you sit in the standings any longer for you.
No, I'm like, there's too many of these now. Now it's come to the breaking point for me. It's no longer
May 3rd, their breaking point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the it's early stuff either. I get that it's early. I understand this, but you've lost too many games that you should have won. And I understand 500. There's worse places to be at 5 over 500, but I am not going to take the consolation prize of, well, you're still 5 over. It's certainly been a fun season, so I won't say it's been more frustrating than fun, but I'm not also going to just say, well, it could be worse.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not a fan.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. And I would add the following, and I'm not a Cubs fan. What's fun about your all the guys you're supposed to be leaning on for big seasons underachieving? What's fun about a bullpen that stinks? What's fun about watching half of your rotation go out with injury?
Yeah.
Like, you're right. Take the record, take all that other stuff out of the way. What has been fun about what you've seen? They've hit 1 or no home runs in 10 straight games.
Right.
What's fun about that?
Well, here's what I would say is fun, all right? You beat the Dodgers in a series this year. You've beaten the defending NL champion Diamondbacks in a road series this year.
You swept the Astros. Even as bad as they've been, it's still a sweep of the Astros.
Like, there have been moments. Shota Imanaga has been fun.
Yes. Cy Young fun.
Michael Busch has been a nice surprise for your team. Like, there have been moments where this team has been fun. But like Sylvie said, like, today felt like a breaking point, and maybe a breaking point that could cause a little bit of action.
Yeah, I've reached the point of saying enough with, and at least they're 5 over. So I'm no longer leaning on that, but I will say it's still been more fun than frustrating.
Has it been fun the last 10 days?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, like, it was fun 2 nights ago when they won that game with the play at the plate. That was fun. That was
lucky.
thrilling.
That was lucky.
It was lucky, but
Lucky can be fun.
Yeah.
Well, you answer the question. You're a diehard Cubs fan. Have you been more frustrated or fun?
I'm more frustrated at this point, especially when you factor, like, injuries are frustrating to me. And with the way that this team has had injury after injury surface over the course of this season, and the blown saves on top of it, I'm now at the threshold of frustrating.
But is it close? Is it like
It's definitely close.
Like a 53-47%?
Yeah, I would probably, I mean, maybe even more narrow, like 52 or 50. Like it is very close. Don't get me wrong. But today is one of those games, division game, your first divisional game of the year, by the way, divisional game. Like that was one that you felt like you had to have.
Can I add an addendum or can I piggyback here on the question? Has it been more frustrating or funny on the South Side?
I think funny. When your top storyline is a milkshake, that to me is funny.
You're not a Sox fan. That's why.
Maybe, yeah.
That's why. That's
Yeah, but at
not
this
fun.
point, it's beyond frustrating. What are they, 6-26? What's their record?
6-26, I believe. Yeah.
They are 6-25. My bad. Soon to be 6-26 tonight.
How dare you?
So I look at this point.
If you're a Sox fan, you're using humor as a defense mechanism at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, and Chucky, I mean, are you really? I know you're. Do you even have the energy to be frustrated at this point?
Well, that was going to be my other question. Is like, do you even feel anything? I mean, it's just
I think Sox fans feel anger.
Still, or apathy? Anger comes before apathy as a fan.
I don't think they're angry at the team per se, because the team itself is.
They are who they are.
Right.
Yeah.
The anger
The owner.
it goes higher.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Like with our Cubs frustration, the frustrations with some of the players, like Adbert Alzolay has to be better. Dansby Swanson, Ian Happ, those guys have to be better.
I think Jesse pointed out though that still like these guys are who they are, but they're not even playing the game the way it's supposed to be played going back to Little League, and the manager needs to be part of this.
You're saying for the White Sox, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like an existential crisis.
But like,
within
what are
the
you
White Sox.
expecting out of Robbie Grossman in your when that's the
That's
guy
my
who's
point.
batted
I can't be
leadoff? Like,
frustrated with him.
yeah, exactly. He's just out there collecting a check. Who blames him?
Nobody.
So, one of the other storylines surrounding this series this weekend is Craig Counsell going from the Brewers to the Cubs this offseason to take over their manager spot. Really not even take over. It was more of a, they overthrew David Ross, it felt more like. But
It was a hostile takeover.
it was a coup, it almost felt like. But looking at this and the rivalry between the Cubs and the Brewers, are the Cubs and Brewers a bigger rivalry right now than the Cubs and the Cardinals?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I think so.
In the here and now, right? I mean, not historically, but in the here and now for sure, right?
I think so, yeah. I think Cubs and Brewers may give a run for the money for Cubs and Packers. I mean, Bears and Packers. I mean, because it's been more of a rivalry lately. I'm the here and the now. It hasn't been a rivalry. It is up to the Bears to make it a rivalry again. The Cubs and the Brewers has been a rivalry. And then now they take their manager. Now, the Brewers have been the winner. They've won more lately, and they beat the Cubs in game one. What was that? Game 163?
Yeah, in 2018.
But like it's been, and Cubs fans take over Miller Park. I'm going up there too, Memorial Day.
Brewers won the division last year by 9 games.
Yeah, the Brewers have been in the playoffs. What is this?
They've been
5
good,
of the
yeah.
last 6 years now, and they're currently in first place.
But there have been some really good games there. The game that Happ ended last year with the play at the plate. There's still been some good games. The Cubs have gone through the rebuild, but before that, there were some good games. Like, I remember much more competitive games in the last 15, 20 years between the Cubs and the Brewers than the Bears and the Packers.
No, well, that's fair. I mean, Bears-Packers hasn't been much. It hasn't been a rivalry. A rivalry, you know what it is? And I'm sure everyone has mentioned, this isn't a rivalry. This is hammer versus nail.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And it should be Bears and Packers, but the Bears need to counterpunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look at like the Brewers fans in general, like they irritate me more than this Cardinals fans do, because it's like Cardinals fans, I have a bigger respect, I think, for Cardinals fans because they get it. It is the lifeblood. Brewers fans,
Really? Brewers fans tick you off?
oh, they parachute in when that team's good.
Really? Like
I think that's all Milwaukee, not all Wisconsin, but all Milwaukee pro sports fans are big parachuters when the going is good.
Okay, wow, the parachute fans.
Aren't most fan bases parachuters? Isn't there a
Which
large
one?
portion of most fan bases?
But like, okay, look at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are always like their fans are there no matter what. Cubs fans are going to be there no matter what. I respect
That's all
the
they
Cardinals
have in
fans.
St. Louis.
Right.
Is their baseball team.
And like Milwaukee is like, all right, the Bucks have been good and the Brewers have been good, but what happens?
beer.
What happens when it goes the other way? No one's going to that park. No one's going to that stadium.
I've also gotten the sense that the Cubs and Brewers don't, like, the players have more animosity towards each other over the last 7 or 8 years than they have with the Cardinals. Maybe that's just me misreading how things or misremembering how things have gone, but I've always gotten the sense that there's maybe a little more tension when those teams play. I feel like I remember more dugout clearing situations.
Really? Cubs, Brewers, dugout clearing? I'm trying to think.
Maybe not dugout clearing. I don't know. I'm
It
with.
seems like I'm with you, Charlie. I think it's been a little more chippy
Little
between
tenser,
the Cubs and Brewers.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's right. Remember, it was with Counsell and Ross, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they have like the cancellation too, and the roof between the roof being? Wasn't there a cancellation when the sun was out one day at Wrigley? And wasn't there some stuff between the roof open and closed in Milwaukee?
I vaguely remember. I definitely remember the cancellation of the game.
The sun out?
That pissed off the
Counsell,
Brewers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
My first impression of Counsell when he took over the Brewers was like not a good one. I thought he was whiny and kind of annoying when
yeah,
it first
right.
started. Now, guy's great to me.
Of course, yeah. He's your coach or he's your manager now.
Oh, that was good stuff, Tyler.
Thank you.